Good day, everybody. My name is Dennis, and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Good. Please don't forget to like and hit the notification button in case I have any other updates for me. Yes, so I'm getting used to this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk about what it means. Who is a minister? Most especially, who is a music minister? So many of us have this understanding from our maybe you're a singer, you're in a choir, you're an instrumentalist, you're directing music in your church, you're involved in music in your church, and you feel, what does it mean to be a minister? Is it that I must preach the word, or what does it mean? That's what we want to talk about today. Okay, a quick one. The first thing is ministry. What is ministry? Ministry means service. Ministry, the word entirely, it means service, to wait on. It's just like you go to a restaurant and you order, and someone comes to you, a waiter comes to you and gives you a menu and stands right there until you're done. You can take 30 minutes looking at the menu, it depends, but the person just stands right there waiting. That's what it means. That's ministry. It means service. Good. I wrote something down here about ministry. It says someone who is a waiter waits on you because that person is there to serve you, and that's what ministry is all about. It's about service. The word ministry in itself means service. You may be wondering, am I a music minister? Have I been called to minister in music? What is my calling? Thereabouts. And I want you to understand something, that for you to have that thing in my mind, have I been called? Have I not been called? Actually, is you need to understand that it is actually God who calls people into their service. It's not something we take upon ourselves and say, "Oh, I'm a music minister. Oh, I'm a minister in this. Oh, I'm a minister in that." It is God that actually calls us into ministry, and that's the first thing I want you to understand, that we don't choose ministry, isn't it? We are being called to it. And on that note, I want us to read Acts. If you read the book of Acts 20, Acts 20 verse 24, it said, "But none of these things move me, nor do I count my life day myself, so that I may finish my race with joy, and the ministry which I have received from the Lord Jesus, to testify to the gospel of the grace of God." So the ministry, just like Apostle Paul was saying, it was received. He didn't say I formed it. He didn't say I just dabbled into it. He received it from the Lord. And that's what I want you to understand, that first of all, you're called to it. Okay? It is not a I want to blow. That term, you know what it means. I want to blow, I want to go into this. And that's what it, no. It has to do with service. Good. That's the first thing of what ministry is. You're called to it. Secondly, being called to ministry, you must have a mandate. What has God told you that you're going to be doing as a music minister? It is different from what someone else is doing. Do you understand? This is not what somebody else is doing, that maybe you have Minister A is into this, then, oh, I think it's Minister A. No. And that's the most, and that is why it is very important that you, when you have this call upon God, you go to God in prayer. What have you called me to do? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Do you understand? Because the person who calls you will tell you exactly. When I mean the person who calls you, God Himself that called you, He knows exactly what you should be doing. So it's not for you to be looking around, looking for trends, looking for what Minister A or Minister B is doing in that aspect. For you to see them and say, okay, God, what have you called me to do? Because you must have a message, a mandate. What have I been called to do? Okay. And lastly, for today, that I'll be talking about is, firstly, you should understand that doing the work of ministry is not by strength. So what the Bible said, by strength shall no man prevail. It's simply to rely on the grace and the strength of God. It's not something you run on trend. It's not something you run on popular opinion. It depends solely on the strength of God. So if you depend on the strength of God, you see that you will come out strong. You will keep thriving in your ministry. But if you decide to run to your own strength, you might just there's a limit that can take you to. Do you understand? So thank you so much. I hope you were blessed. Please like, subscribe, and share. God bless you.